Everyone, in this video we are gonna create a simple Python server. Okay, so first we import the socket library. Why? Because we need to create sockets. And why sockets? Because sockets are something which connect your system to another system. Okay, virtually means on internet. Sockets, these are amazing things. You will not regret for it, don't worry. First, we call the library we imported. We are creating a handler for it. Okay, socket. Now we are creating or we are calling a method inside that particular class. In socket class, okay. Then what do we need? We need to give it family, means address of that family, means what do you want to create? Means the socket is gonna be created. So the socket for what? So we will give giving socket.afind means for IPv4. We are gonna be using IP address. IPv4 means like 127.0.0.1. This is called IPv4. If it was something else, including digits, means including alphabets, it will be IPv6. I will explain it later in networking videos. Okay, then we will be using sock stream because we want to create a TCP connection. Okay, so our handler is created. Now we need to bind it somewhere. Why bind? Because somewhere the socket should be listening at a particular address at which the socket is listening so that the client can connect to that address. Okay, so it takes only one argument, so we need to pass IP and port both. So we pass in form of a tuple. So we created a tuple. Now we are giving the IP 0.0.0.0. It means anyone on the network can access this server. Okay, then we are gonna give port, whatever port, it's up to you. So we binded the socket to a particular address. Now we want to activate it. So in order to ask our socket that bro, start listening for new connections, we do s.listen means go and listen to the new connection. Now it is listening. So if a client tries to connect it, we are listening, but are we accepting the connection? No. So now we are gonna learn how to accept a connection. So a client, just wait for a second, I will explain you what I'm writing. Okay, client and then the address s dot accept. This function accepts the incoming connection and returns us a tuple which contains client socket and address of that client. Means the person who is trying to connect to us, his IP address and port in form of address and the client. This is a socket. Your system creates a new socket and connects to that client in order to make your server alive. So your server is alive and a new socket is dealing with your client. Okay, so let's print. We are going to use fstring call taken from, means we got call from this particular address and we have accepted it. Okay, so one thing I forgot is to write here listening. This is just for our benefit. No need, if you don't write, that is no problem. Listening. Then we got the connection, we accepted the connection, means our TCP connection is stabilized. Now we need to talk to it, right? So if we want to send data, so cl client dot send, we use this API in order to send data. So inside this send braces, this bracket, we are gonna write our data like in form of bytes because data travels in form of bytes in internet. So whatever you write here, or else the better way is to create a variable data is equals to, and we are going to take input from the user, that what do you want to say. Now data, so data is in form of string, we need to convert it into bytes, so we do encode. This encodes it. Okay, so now the data is sent. So this is enough for server. Later in advanced classes I will explain you much more things like using asynchronous programming, threading, and many things. Okay, so now we are going to write a client side code. Here also we need socket in order to stabilize a connection. Here also same thing, create a socket handler. Here also we are going to use IPv4 TCP connection. Fine. Then here we don't need to bind it somewhere or listen to someone because we are just connecting to a IP address. We don't need to bind it somewhere. So we can directly write connect. Here also we are passing the address in form of tuple because it takes only one argument. Now I give the IP address of our what we call server, and then the port. This IP address 127.0.0.1 refers back to your own PC. Okay, so now after this line, we have been connected to our system or our server. So we can print connected. Then, as we are sending data, so here we will be receiving. Later on, I will teach you asynchronous and multi-threading so you can do whatever you want, sending, receiving at, together. Okay. For now this is rule based. Okay, so s dot receive how much bytes, 9600. This is the buffer size, that maximum this much bytes will be received at one call. A, let's call the variable a, then print a dot decode. Why decode? Because data travels in form of bytes. So first let's start our server. So it's listening, then we will start our client. It is connected. Now what do you want to say? Hello dude, how are you? Fine, this was enough. Now we got the message from it. So our server and client are working fine. This is the simplest client and server explanation in Python.